We need to get a lawyer on the show.
Yeah, well, we might get a lawyer on the show pretty soon.
Well, the lawyer needs to tell us how much trouble you're in because you are the president and the only member, I think, of the LLC. So I'm fine. I've got total immunity.
Welcome aboard. You've just stepped into
A big pile of shit. Welcome back, listeners.
Welcome aboard. You've just stepped into Damn It, Jim, the podcast. We're talking about the highly rated Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds. My name is Dana Smith, and I'm happy to be your captain and navigator on this adventure. And with me, as always, the man who rode a bicycle on a beer tour of Europe, then came back to the U.S. to do a beer tour of Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas, our Commodore of vacationing, Dan Calzaretta. Good evening, Dan.
Hey, Dana. Hey, speaking of vacations, I need some time off. I'm just joking about that. Oh, man, it's good to be back, Dana. It's good to be back doing this.
It's been, 6-7 weeks?
Oh, gosh, maybe 8 weeks, Dana.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up with a whole new listening audience because they're like, oh, hey, look, there's a new podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And they will immediately be an ex audience as soon as they hear this episode.
So briefly, Dan, tell us about your tour of Europe.
Yeah, so I cycled from Prague in the Czech Republic, where it's also called Czechia. I think it's one of the only countries that has two official names. Kind of funny. And cycled on the Elbe River. The Elbe River, eh? All of a sudden I'm doing an English accent. What the hell is that? We cycled along the Elbe River to the North Sea, taking a few breaks here and there to go to Berlin and a couple other places. Rode probably about 400 miles-ish. Drank probably 4,000 beers. Something like that. Ate a lot of good German and Czech food. We had a great time.
Well, that's great. And then you came back and you did judging in Colorado for the Great American Beer Festival.
I did, which is the largest beer festival in the world. First time for me doing that one, and it was a great experience. Went from there to visit family in Iowa, came back through Colorado, and you and another friend of ours went to the actual festival itself. Had a great time. But Dana, what about you? Anything new going on in your life?
Let's see. I went to the Great American Beer Festival with a couple guys. And, found a new restaurant in Denver I've been wanting to go to actually for a while.
Yeah, you and our other friend went to that restaurant the night of the Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, and that was really good.
Yeah, a steakhouse. It was great.
Mickey's Top Sirloin. So we'll throw out a little promo for them. So Dan, while you were touring the world, tasting all the different beers out there, we did get some listener comments.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually surprised, Dana, that we got a lot of messages while we were gone. And oddly enough, none of them said anything like, thank God, please never come back, or your voices are as bad as Billy's and deserve to be stricken from the internet. Nothing like that, Dana. I was shocked, actually. And we did get some voicemails as well. One of them was 2 minutes and 57 seconds of just like dead air. I don't know if someone butt dialed us, which probably would be appropriate, I suppose. But we got a lot of written messages. So from one of our encore episodes, Miri, and that's the one where the kids get a disease as they enter puberty, right? And they die a horrible death. An anonymous listener writes, RFK's least favorite episode. Well played, anonymous listener. Well played.
Oh, nice.
And then Cecil Limbarsky, who has been a longtime listener, he commented on YouTube about the episode Shuttle to Kenfori, saying, our next episode, Shuttle to Kentucky for a bucket of original recipe. And he continues, and with Spock on his third girlfriend in 3 seasons, the Vulcan High Command has officially changed his name, and Cecil Limbarsky writes it as S''TUD, S-TUD. Stud, like stud. It's funnier when you read it, I think, when you look at it in print. And then Robert from Nevada sent us a quote from the Dalai Lama, which is pretty interesting. That quote says, we often add to our pain and suffering by being overly sensitive, overreacting to minor things, and sometimes taking things too personally. Robert then writes, actual message, not even an encore, not even the promised live video last week. So when the fuck are you coming back? Well, Robert, be careful what you wish for because we're back. At least until Dana decides to take another vacation. And then finally, we heard from Steve from Fort Lee, New Jersey. He sent a picture of a football player from Louisiana State University with the name of, now get this, Dana, Paul Mabanga.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And Steve says he can't wait to see this guy play and use his signature slap move. So thanks for sending that, Steve. And Dana, we also got a lot more messages. We got some from Lou in Canada. We got one from Ed Darlow, from Roxy, and a bunch of others. We had more voicemails, but we really need to get to this episode tonight. So that's all I have, Dana. How about you?
Yeah, Dan. Got a couple of interesting messages through Facebook. Michael Worley, in reference to our discussion on hegemony. I always say this wrong. Hegemony?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, part 2.
Well, you said that wrong, though.
Yeah, well, part 2.
That's it.
He says, one of my biggest beefs with SNW was their treatment of the Gorn and the Enterprise's crew reaction to them. They made the Gorn into silver screen monsters akin to Predator or Xenomorphs. Watching the Gorn on the screen, it was impossible to visualize how this was a sentient species that built and crewed starships and such. And I think he's got a valid point. He says, having said all that, I love the character Hemmer, and I truly hope they figure a way to bring him back.
No.
That goes against everything you believe in. So our old friend Craig Combs said, and the children shall lead, took a potentially groundbreaking concept for the era, handed it over to ranked amateurs, and created another contender for the worst TOS episode. This is an unqualified disaster for everyone.
But a fun one to review because we hated it so much.
Yeah. And since then, we've pretty much hated any of the episodes that have children in them. So
that's really, really true. Yeah.
So that's what we got for our comments this week, Dan. And for everybody that wrote in and or called, thank you for communicating with us. We really appreciate it. Sorry we didn't get to the phone calls today. We do have a long episode here to get to. And so why don't we dive into that?
Yeah, Dana, can we skip the episode and just go to next week's?
We've got to go through this together, Dan.
Okay. All right.
Season 3, episode 4, A Space Adventure Hour.
Yeah, an hour seemed like 20 hours to me, Dana. I'm beside myself.
We start off with Chapel in a wild pink outfit. And
Dana, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think I already hate this episode in the first 27 seconds of the fucking show, Dana. Dana, what are they doing here, Dana? I don't understand.
Yeah, she's got like some bad 60s hair and stuff. And we realize, I mean, unless you're, completely passed out drunk, this is obviously not the Enterprise. It looks more like a cheap 50s sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And she turns to the captain, which is Kirk.
Woody. You mean Woody.
Woody, yeah. She says she's getting strange radiation readings in the Blue Tar Nebula that are not native.
Dana, oh my God. I don't know what to say.
And so he does this whole William Shatner impersonation. He's like, we are all children of the cosmos. Just then, Ortegas comes in with a blue jumpsuit and some pretty wild 1950s hair.
Yeah.
And she says there's a record number of crew members reporting melancholia. And Chapel warns that they are outside the regulation space. And Kirk, again, over dramatic in a huge way, says, don't lecture me on jurisdiction. I wrote the book on space jurisdiction.
And he emphasizes diction.
Yes.
That part I did find funny. I did chuckle at that.
And then he says, get me the Agonian. And Chapel says, they are extremely dangerous. And so we see the screen, like the viewer screen that they got, but it's like kind of circular.
Yeah.
And we see the view screen change to this green alien with long tentacles. and eyes on his tentacles. And by the way, that was tentacles, Dan, not testicles. So,
I didn't even think about that. See, we've been gone for so long that didn't even occur to me, Dana.
wow.
I'm out of shape, Dana. I'm out of podcast shape, Dana.
So the alien calls itself Zipnop. So Kirk says he's the commander of the USS Adventure. Kirk says melancholia only happens from Agonian radiation waves. And Zipnop says
Zipnop. What kind of name is that, Dana?
the humans are quite delicious, and they mean the Agonians need the human brain cells to power their radiation.
Jesus, Dana, this needs to end. I think the writers' brain cells were gone when they wrote this freaking episode.
Oh man.
I am ready. I am serious. I'm ready to skip to next week's installment, Dana. Let's just move on. The thing is here, Dana. This went on way too freaking long.
Yeah.
Cut it down, like way down to a quarter of the length. Maybe it would have been kind of funny, but it was just way too long, Dana.
Yeah, well, we're not out of it yet. So,
oh, God, you can't just get to the...
So Zipnop promises not to destroy the Adventure if they get the human brain cells.
Well, what did he want to just like take the brain cells of just out of the people that are on the bridge? I mean, what's his plan here, Dana? I don't understand.
Yeah, he didn't go into details, but, it was, I think it was just all the human brain cells. So,
okay.
Fortunately for us, as much beer and as we've drank over the years, we don't have many brain cells left. So it'd be...
That's true. Yeah. We would not be the ones they'd be taking the brain cells from.
Be like, oh, this one's empty. Yeah. So.
And this one's pickled. I don't know. What's going on there?
So the Agonians fire nuclear lasers. Ortega sits down at the controls and she's got like these big levers that she's throwing. And then the cast like leans right when they get hit and then they lean left when they get hit.
But one of them, did you notice, was leaning the wrong way than the other one? So here's the thing, Dana. We know that the writers of the show listen to our podcast, right? We know this. We've had it verified. Every episode that we've done, we found evidence that they listened to the show because of something in the episode. And we would talk about that in the original series, how some were leaning the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
And so they took our podcast about the original series and made this little opening part of this episode. So actually, now I think about it, it's great. It's awesome because they used all of our comments and ideas.
Well, it's about time. I mean, I just wish we could get paid for it. So
yeah, no kidding.
So then the Agonians disappear. Chapel says, our brain cells are gone as well. What do we do? And Kirk stands and says, first, we find the Agonians, retrieve our brain cells, and then we get back our joy.
Again, they're making fun of the original series. And like you said, all other kind of sci-fi stuff, but especially the original series. And he's doing a over-the-top, William Shatner kind of impersonation. But it didn't stick for me, Dana. It didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
It was like bad. Really bad. And it went on way too freaking long. Our listeners are probably saying, well, your podcast goes on way too long too, and we don't complain about it. So I don't know.
So then we go to the opening credits, and it's this crappy looking ship.
Yeah.
And that's flying, doing the original Star Trek episode, flyby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And says this is the tale of the USS Adventure on its 84-month mission as it treks across the furthest reaches of the universe.
See, it goes on, Dana. It continues to go on and isn't stopping. They needed to stop after about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And it would have been like, okay, this is kind of funny. It's clever. This ceased to be clever like a long time ago, Dana. A long, long time ago.
So then it goes to black. And then we get a security officer's log, and it's La'an. And so it's back to reality. Yeah. And she says Enterprise is about to pass through the Catolian belt.
That's the belt that she wears on her pants?
Yeah.
That Spock's trying to get past, apparently.
Yeah. He's got to bring a phaser and have it fully charged.
Phaser set to... So I can't put that in.
Says, but while the Enterprise studies the neutron star, I've been assigned a separate but equally important task. Call it a dual mission. So, like I said, we see we're back in the real world, and with Lon is in a conference room, and she's asking Pike, "You want me to play a game, sir?" And my first thought was, boy, this sounds like an HR problem right from the get-go. So
Yeah, number one needs to be documenting everything that's going on in this conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we pull back and we see Pike and number one is there. And so I'm like, well, at least number one's there, but
Right.
I'm still curious about what this game is. Pike says the room is called the recreation room or the recreation room or something. I can't remember what he says. And Una says holodeck. It sounds better.
Yeah, no, Dana, see, okay, I really like Strange New Worlds. I've said this many times. They've taken some really cool chances. But Dana, I got problems with this whole thing. What about you? I mean, you got any problems with this?
Oh, well, Dan, I hate the holodeck to begin with. Yeah, so
I mean, I love the concept. I thought it was a cool concept,
as a concept goes, yeah. I just hate that they use it all the time. And as we'll talk, it really does nothing to advance the show.
Exactly. If the holodeck were real, I'd be there all the time, Dana.
So Lon asks, is this based on battle simulators? She says, because I've beaten every one of those.
Well, okay, Lon, I guess you're really good then, aren't you?
And Lon seems uncertain and replies, both those simulators are usually on star bases. They take up huge amounts of energy and processing power. Can our ship actually handle it?
No, it can't. Let's move on to the next episode.
Pike says that that's what you're going to find out. He says, we want you to push it as hard as you can.
Push what, Dana? What is Pike talking about?
The game, I'm thinking.
Oh, the game.
So then we see Lon leave the room and she enters another room and she's like in Spock's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like looking around. I thought it was like a rec hall or something, but it was Spock's room.
Yeah, I think it was his room. Yeah.
His room's as big as the captain's.
Yeah, I know. The rooms on this ship, they're really great. I mean, they got some good rooms. No one's got a bad room. Even the lowest of red shirts, which we never freaking see or see them die, by the way. Writers, this is something you do need to add, and we're begging you.
Yeah, and well, remember Uhura when she was a cadet shared a room with like 3 other people.
God, I would have loved to have seen what went on there at night.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they probably played dominoes and things like that.
Yeah,
Checkers.
Spock's doing some dance steps alone, and you might remember back when he was preparing for Chapel's wedding or whatever it was. I can't remember what he was preparing for.
Yeah.
But La'an was helping him learn how to dance.
Yes.
She asks if she's interrupting, and Spock says no. He's practicing dance steps in lieu of calisthenics.
What?
So Spock holds out his hand, and she takes it, and music starts playing. It's a tango.
Right.
As they dance, Lon says she just stopped by to check on the work Scotty and Spock were doing on the holodeck. And Spock says the holodeck should be ready as soon as Mr. Scott finishes designing a program for you.
Okay, so there's some sexual tension in this scene.
Oh yeah, it's a tango.
It's a tango.
So I mean, she's like wrapping her leg around him, and he's
Right.
dipping her and stuff.
But I thought she had a thing for Woody. Now Spock has a Woody for La'an. Is this what we're seeing here, Dana? I'm really confused.
Well, I think when they were dancing together before, she realized that there's more to Spock than meets the eye, especially when you dance close to him. Those Vulcans are known for more than just their logic. Yeah. So.
What are you saying, Dana?
So Spock asks about the monitoring pin, and she says she actually forgot she was wearing it. Where the hell is that worn? I didn't see a pin on her anywhere.
No, I got the feeling it was like a suppository. It could have been a suppository.
Yeah.
And then she goes down to engineering and said, "Okay, here you go, Mr. Scott. Let me just pop in the bathroom here, and I'll." You can insert that in your hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, the poop jokes, Dana. We have not forgotten about the poop jokes, at least, thankfully.
Yeah, somehow those come back full force. Yeah, so.
All the time.
She says it is best if it captures you in a natural state, so the holodeck can construct the most realistic environment for your specifications. And says, speaking of, have you chosen a subject for your situation or simulation? And Lon says, no, not yet. They dance and they end up extremely close. Then
yeah.
Lon says, Amelia. And I thought, wow, now we're going to have Spock and two women in this dance. Thought maybe this isn't such a bad episode after all. But so next we see that Lon is talking to Scotty about this, and Lon says it's a story that she was given and she's obsessed with it. He says there is one wee wrinkle. The holographic characters need to be incredibly detailed to pass muster. Says the only biosignatures we have at that resolution are from the transporter buffer. And who's this little child in here all the fucking time?
I just flushed her out of the transporter.
Yeah. Says we'll use their likenesses to create holographic interactive avatars. Lon calls to the computer and asks for her to create a new Amelia Moon mystery for her.
Dana, hold on a second here. This is so familiar, this whole mystery, detective freaking thing, because it's already been fucking done in Next Generation.
Picard did it, and Data did it, and everybody and their brother did it. Yeah,
I know.
Next we see her on the holodeck in a red hat, red scarf, and she's got a blazer on, and her hair is all fluffy.
Yeah, she looks like Carmen Sandiego, Dana.
Is it Santiago? Not San Diego?
I don't know what her name is. She looks sort of like that character. Is it Santiago? Did I say San Diego? Whatever.
Yeah.
She looks like freaking Captain San Francisco. What the hell? And Viola, she's all of a sudden a new character.
Yeah. Well, Spock is there, and he says he wanted to finish running diagnostics. But Lon thanks for the concern, but she's ready to go. And so she starts the program. The room changes, and she says she can smell the ocean and the cigarettes. And Spock says something about, well, I wouldn't recommend cigarettes on the holodeck and stuff, or for you personally.
That was funny. I got to say. That was actually hilarious. Ethan Peck is really a great actor, the guy who plays Spock. And I think his comedy chops are really pretty good. We've seen it in this episode, well, in that one scene specifically, and in a bunch of the other episodes.
Yeah, I've always thought he's done well. So in this, and I've been impressed.
Yeah.
So Spock says, as my ancestor, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, would write, the game is afoot.
Yeah, so he's related to Arthur Conan Doyle. I mean, is that what we're getting here, Dana?
I have seen this in Star Trek books that they reference that he is related to Arthur Conan Doyle and Conan Doyle's whole thing about logic and figuring things out. So that's supposedly how the Vulcans got us, because they're all related to him or something.
Okay, so we should say that Arthur Conan Doyle wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
For those who might not know it. And if you don't know that, go read a book. Get go to the library. Stop listening to our podcast. Because you're not learning shit from us.
Wait a minute. After you listen to the podcast and comment that you really liked it.
Good point. Yeah. So Dana, at this point, we're 12 minutes into the episode. I wrote this down. Okay. I am so bored by this whole freaking thing, except for Spock's line about the cigarettes. That was pretty good. Otherwise, Dana, I'm like, come on, let's move this thing along.
Yeah, it is trudging.
Tedious.
Spock offers his help, and Lon says this is a single-person game, and he says he's available if she needs him. And then he leaves. Next, someone approaches, calling Lon by the name Amelia Moon. It's Uhura.
Oh, she didn't say Carmen Sandiego? Are you Carmen Sandiego? San Quentin? Maybe you're San Quentin. Carmen San Quentin. Jesus. Oh, boy. Okay.
But she's got this flowing gown on, and she's got kind of big hair. It was very reminiscent of Nichelle Nichols.
So here's the deal, Dana. I kind of like some of the references to the original series, which I think is very obvious in here for people who watched the original series and really got into it. And I'll talk more about this later, but I thought the same thing, Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah. Well, she says her name is Joni Gloss. And she says there's been a murder. One of the guests killed Tony.
Okay.
And I was hoping it was Tony the Tiger. So there's a commercial tie-in.
That would have been great. Is Tony the Tiger still around?
Yeah.
I don't see commercial. I mean, I have Paramount, which, I pay for. Hey, did you know, by the way, if you live in England, you can get the first season of Star Trek Next Generation free?
Strange New Worlds, even.
Wait, what did I say? Carmen Sandiego? No, you can get yeah, so if I moved to England,
Yeah.
but it's only the first season of Strange New Worlds, and
Is
we've
it only
already
the first?
I think it was only the first season. I think that's what I read.
Well, by the time you got done with the first,
Yeah.
the second season would be out for free.
Yeah, but we've already done we've already reviewed them, though. That's the problem with that whole plan, you know?
So Lon finds the body in the bathtub. The man was strangled, but she doesn't know what he was strangled with or by whom.
Wait, did she actually say whom?
I think she did.
Wow. See? Another piece of evidence that they listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She checks out all the clues. There's like a bracelet by there, and there's, different things around the room. And she introduces all the possible suspects as she goes in this room, and all the crew are there, including Pike, who looks a little bit like Elliot Gould back in the 70s.
Yeah, I thought he looked just like Gene Roddenberry, actually.
So Lon calls Scotty for help. Scotty says he cannot come. It's an old family problem. Unless you make sounds like a sheep.
That is all going in because that's brilliant. That's a brilliant juvenile comedy right there. Look, Dana, our listeners, if we have any left, they would not expect anything less of us, Dana.
Yeah, they sure wouldn't expect anything more. That's for sure. Scotty says he cannot come to her aid, so she calls Spock. And then we go back to the ship. In sickbay, Una enters. Mabenga points out that they're having some strange fluctuations.
I'm sorry, some strange what?
Fluctuations.
Oh, fluctuations. Okay. All right. Got it.
And Una says they are 6 hours from a collapsing star. There are bound to be some abnormalities.
Sure. Total sense. Makes total sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they use that for everything, we're about 6 hours, from a collapsing star. Which one? There's gotta be one out there that's collapsing.
All the time. They're collapsing all the time. All around us, Dana. All the time.
So we go to engineering. Scotty is saying he's got everything under control. And then we see these readouts and they all look jumbled. Una looks at the readouts and she says, this is sensory overload. And Scotty says, all normal, all under control.
And you can tell he's freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, sweating a little bit. And he goes, power fluctuates. And Scotty tells her not to worry.
Yeah, I would be worrying at that point. Like that would, when someone tells me not to worry, that's really a sign you shouldn't worry.
So we see like a diagram of the ship and you can see it's coming basically from the holodeck.
Yeah.
If I was Scotty, I would have said kill the program.
Right. Yeah. Because that's what's obviously. And he says something about it's drawing a lot of power from the ship and all this stuff. Yeah.
So we go back to the holodeck. Later, Spock and Lon are talking about the murder and they're standing in the room and we see it's like chandeliers over them and it starts kind of like trembling. And Spock grabs La'an and pulls her out of the way as the chandelier falls. We look at La'an's face and she's got like a cut under her eye, under her left eye.
And it's bleeding. I mean, I think they CGI'd that, but it looked pretty good that the blood just slowly started to drip out.
And Spock tries to wipe the blood away with his finger. Apparently, Dan, bloodborne pathogens don't exist in the 23rd century.
Apparently.
That's just not something you would do.
No.
So La'an asks about the safety protocols in the holodeck, and she says, perhaps we should get out of here and not risk anything else. Then she says, computer, end program, nothing happens.
Yeah, and at that point I was like, oh my God, really? It's going on? we got to keep going with this crap?
And my thought was, wow, how unusual. The holodeck won't respond.
Malfunctioning, right, yeah.
She calls Scotty to end the program. Nothing happens.
Right.
So she says, so we can't shut it off. The program could actually hurt us and we can't get out.
So at that point, I was thinking, okay, at least let's get something positive out of this whole episode, right? If the holodeck could kill Woody, thereby killing Jim Kirk, maybe we could get like another actor to take over the role. Instead of Paul Wesley. I mean, am I being too harsh on Paul Wesley? I mean, is he as bad as I'm making him out to be, Dana? Maybe we could get him on our show. Let's ask him that. let's ask him that. Paul, if you're listening, by the way, I'm not. I am serious, actually. I'm pretty serious. Watch, he'll be the only guy that actually contacts us to be on the
Yeah,
show. It's
yeah.
like, hey guys, I'd really like to be on your show. Can you call me up? Was that a good impression of him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We got to move on. Dan, we got to move on. This episode doesn't deserve this much time.
So next we go back to the ship and we see Scotty looking onto the bridge and he's kind of like peeking around.
Okay, I got to say, Dana, this scene I really did like. All the holodeck stuff, horrible. This scene, I really like this guy who's, I don't even know what his name is. The guy who's playing Scotty, whatever his name is. We should get him on the show. He is really good.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot.
And he's really Scottish. He's not faking the accent.
Yeah, just like me. So he clears his throat to get Uhura's attention. And here's what I was thinking. He doesn't look like he's standing in a turbo lift. He looks like he's standing in another room. All the time we see people coming onto the bridge, they're coming off the turbo lift.
Well, maybe he's in the bathroom, coming out of the bathroom.
No, I think he's in the science lab.
Well, you think that's right off the bridge, huh?
Apparently, because that's what it looked like.
So with all the bad things in this show, this is the one thing that you're going to like focus on to be upset about?
I can't go on. I just can't.
Yeah, it's over for me. It is over.
So Uhura comes up and walks over and he explains that he cannot communicate with the holodeck or La'an. And Uhura says, then I'd shut the system down. And Uhura says, so you're telling me that La'an is trapped on the holodeck? And Scotty says, the only way to unlock the program is for the lieutenant to complete it. But she's unaware of this. And Uhura asks, what does completing it entail? So Scotty says, solving a murder mystery set in 1969 Hollywood. And then we see a system is showing red and the warning signs says power levels critical.
So things are not going well.
So we go back to the holodeck.
Oh, really? Do we have to go back there, Dana? Please. Please, let's not.
So Spock and Lon point out that none of the protocols are working. Lon says that means we can die here.
Well, what I was saying was that I was ready to die during this whole freaking... Every time they'd go back to the holodeck, I'd be like, oh, please.
So Uhura is staying in the room, but she says she was looking for a light for her cigarette. And Uhura points out that the show, The Last Frontier, was science fiction and it made the producers uncomfortable. And Salon questions it, and Uhura responds, do you realize how rare a show like this is? They wanted to give audiences a digestible reflection of their own world through the lens of fantasy, social commentary, with rubber masks and buried metaphors.
They are really hitting us over the freaking head with a huge, gigantic sledgehammer. References to NBC canceling the original series. And Dana, it's got to stop. I mean, I just can't take it anymore. I really can't take it anymore.
Lon says, and the studio did not agree with this vision.
We get it, Lon. We get it. Move on. Go to something else.
She says they were more cautious.
Oh God,
they didn't want to make waves. Lon asks, and with all that, with weekly space adventures, and Uhura replies, you don't find the idea inspiring? You don't think some kid out there is going to see this show and spend the rest of their life wanting to listen to podcasts about the show?
Or doing a podcast, potentially.
A show like this could have gone on forever, but it can't happen without a season 2.
Yeah, this show's going on forever, Dana.
Just this one scene is going on forever.
Oh, God, Dana. Yes.
So Uhura leaves the room, and Lon spots something in the fake fireplace. It's a strip of celluloid film.
Okay.
So she says it's a great clue. And it's also a recording. Spock says we have to see what is on this.
This didn't make any sense, Dana. Really.
So back on the bridge of the Enterprise, they're watching the star collapse. Mitchell warns there's a gamma burst heading right toward them. Wasn't gamma radiation which turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's just say yes. It probably was. Yeah.
I think it was. So all of them could have been turned into like Hulk-like creatures.
Oh, that would have been cool. Then stormed the holodeck and killed everybody.
Yeah. So Pike orders shields up and for Ortegas to change course, but Ortegas says she can't. Nothing's responding. Pike calls to Scotty in the science lab. And Scotty says,
Cotton, you're the one who told me to run the freaking program. I told you it was going to take a lot of power, but no, you wanted to go to this collapsing star.
You were good there for a few syllables.
When I stopped talking, I sounded just like Scotty when he pauses.
Scotty says, The holodeck is pulling more power than they thought. And Pike says, shut it down. We have a situation here and we need power now. Scotty says, it's not quite that easy, sir. And Pike tells him if they fly right into the gamma burst, they won't survive it.
Yeah, they're just all going to die. They're going to die.
So Scotty replies, I can manually reroute power to you in small increments. That should give you something.
Well, just do it. I mean, just do it then.
Yeah, why do we have to discuss it?
Right.
Pike says, do it now. Scotty says, you've got roughly 30 seconds of acceleration. And Pike says to Ortegas, can you make that work?
Why didn't he just say go now? Just go.
Yeah.
As the radiation is heading directly toward the ship, they all got to say all these extra things,
Yeah.
you know?
So next to her comes a Scotty, and she says, I think I have an idea.
Now, the real Uhura, not the one on the holodeck.
Yeah.
Because Scotty's not on the holodeck. He's like one of the only ones that isn't there.
He's in the science lab.
Right. No, I mean like a holographic version of him.
No,
He's
he
not
has,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe he hasn't been on the ship long enough, you know, or he's like, well, I'm not doing that. I know this is going to end up bad, so I'm not. I don't even want my holodeck version of myself to risk being killed. None of that made any sense, but you know, the show doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, so Uhura says, you can't reach La'an because you're not part of the program. So you need to convince the hologram that you're a hologram too.
The hologram or the holodeck? Which hologram? Oh my God, it's so confusing.
I'm a hologram. You're a hologram. Wouldn't you like to be a hologram too? So then we see the opening scene again as Spock and La'an are watching it.
The opening scene from
what we saw at the beginning of this show.
Right.
The bad sci-fi TV show.
Yes, exactly.
We all see there's a problem with the scene and the scene stops. The actors all moan. Pike's character says to the Kirk character, perhaps you could say the line like an actual human for once.
Okay, that was really meta, you know. I mean, this whole episode is really kind of meta. It meta bad, but it's also right. It's looking in on itself, which again, clever, maybe. Well executed, they needed to be executed because it's really bad.
And Spock and La'an are watching. They're confused, just like the audience in the real world. So,
yeah.
So Pike's character gets a call on the set. Well, the person that had him the phone turns around and it's Scotty.
Right.
And he comes right up to the screen and says, La'an, I don't know if you'll see this, but it was my only chance of getting a message to you.
How is this working? How is this working, Dana? Tell me how this works.
Because it's a fucking film. This is...
But it doesn't make any sense.
So he put himself in the film, which wasn't part of the... But it's a holodeck, so it's not real anyway.
Yeah, see? Yeah, doesn't... Even in making up everything, it still doesn't work. It still doesn't work. Anyway, go ahead.
So he says the holodeck is pulling all computer processing power from the rest of the ship. The only way to stop it is to end the program, which means you have to solve the mystery. And then the film ends, and La'an turns to Spock and says, wait, if we're pulling all processing power, that includes shields.
Yes, then what could happen, La'an?
Navigation, life support. They could die.
Oh.
We could all die, Spock.
We could all die, yeah.
And Spock replies, an accurate assessment.
I'm dying, Dana. I'm dying with this whole freaking episode.
So I put something in here. I don't know where it came from.
Good. Well, it's got to be better than the episode. What did you write? I want to hear it now.
So somebody is saying we now know that Bellows did indeed care very much about the cancellation. And she says that gives him, I think it's Lon speaking. She says that gives him motive. And he had an opportunity, but he had no reason to kill Woods or Lapino.
I'm confused now. Wait, who's Bellows again?
Bellows is the Pike character.
Oh, the Pike character who's supposed to be Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, and Woods was Ortegas, and Lupino was number one, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well, yeah, no, you shouldn't. In fact, I'm sorry that I even made you kind of go through that whole process.
So she says she didn't cancel the show. She would have done anything to save it.
And, wait, who's the she again? It doesn't matter. Let's move on.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care who it is.
Yeah. Why start caring now?
Yeah, exactly. Why even bother? Why worry at this point?
So Pike's character, Bellows, walks in and cries about being fired. And he says he didn't kill anyone. So he says he didn't kill anyone, but yet he's carrying a gun It's like a 38.
Oh, you knew what kind of gun it was. Okay. Well, he was a police officer. I mean, Gene Roddenberry, not the guy in the show. He should have stayed a police officer and gotten in a, firefight with some bank robbers and been shot. We would never have had this problem of today's episode.
But we never would have had the original series.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of, I'm thinking I might be willing to give that up because this episode blows. Just when I said I really was happy about them taking chances, I'm not anymore. Not happy anymore, Dana.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till we get to the Muppets. So
Oh my God. Is this real? I haven't looked ahead. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
No, I just saw that they've got something where it's Muppets. That's all I know.
Oh my God. Well, it could be good. I don't know. I'd like to stick my hand up, whoever is the Muppets of these characters. I think I can put that in. That's not,
Okay, so back to the show. Lon asks him to put it away before someone gets seriously hurt.
Wait, put what away?
The gun.
Oh, okay. It's not like he's dropped trow or anything.
Yeah. So the Pike character is drunk and he points at Spock and asks why he's there. And Lon goes to stop him from shooting Spock, and the gun goes off, and we see Spock is hit.
Yeah, God. Yeah.
Green blood actually goes flying.
Yeah, that was cool.
Lon gets the gun and Pike runs off. And Lon checks Spock and he says he's okay. And we see it's just his shoulder got hit. And then she hugs him and says, "Thank God you're okay." And then she stops and gets a strange look on her face.
Yeah.
And then she backs away and says, "You're the killer."
Oh, Dana.
And I was like, say what? Yeah, I mean, it's just, where'd this come from? But this is like the only thing that makes sense in the show.
Dana, I got to say, it was obvious to me from when Spock showed up on the holodeck that he wasn't really Spock, that he was a hologram. It was very clear to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I was all in it.
I mean, this was the one thing that I really saw from the beginning. Well, two things. One, this episode sucks. Two, Spock was a hologram. I knew it from the beginning. How did she know, though? Because when she hugged him, there was something maybe missing.
Yeah, there's no response.
There was no response. Yeah, so to speak.
He wasn't running the flag up the flagpole and see what if anybody saluted it.
Right. Right. Yeah. And all the other metaphors for him having a hard on. I mean, that we could think of.
Yeah.
But that had to be it.
She says, "You poisoned Lupino's cup."
Sorry, the what cup? What did you just say?
Lupino. That was Una, I think.
No, I think you said the penis cup. Pretty sure that's what
I said Lupino.
Oh, I don't think I'll play it back later and we'll see what it is.
So she keeps the gun pointed at him now and she says, "You're not even part of the story. I brought you here. You're not a colleague. You're a hologram."
See, Dana, it was clear to me from the beginning when he set foot on the holodeck that he was not really Spock.
So Spock stands and says, "Bravo, Lieutenant Noonien Singh. You have solved the mystery."
Bravo, Carmen Sandiego. You have.
So she turns and calls the computer and ends the simulation, and everything returns to normal.
God, Dana, this was just horrible. Horrible, Dana. I mean, it's great that it ended.
Yeah. So then we go to Pike's conference room. La'an.
Oh, shoot. The show's not done. Okay.
And Scotty are there. La'an recommends that the holodeck not be installed on any active ships for the time being, like at least a century. That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
Scotty adds, "Well, if I can make just one wee tiny addendum, it just needs a dedicated server room and a power source." And Pike stops him and says, "Understood," and he ends the meeting. So everybody's leaving. And Una stops Scotty before he leaves. And she asks if he knows how many people are on the ship. And then she says specifically 203 of the finest Starfleet has to offer.
We discussed in an earlier episode, Dana, that the crew on the ship is smaller than what they get in the original series, right? This is supposed to be a prequel to the original series.
Yeah, by like 10 years or so.
Yeah, essentially doubles in size.
Well, yeah, because everybody didn't get these like master suites like everybody's got.
That's what it is. And they're like, what? We need to, cram more people on this thing. Your room is now the size of a closet.
Yeah. So even the captain's room. No more cooking in your captain's room.
No, we are done with that nonsense.
Yeah. She says there is never any reason to do something alone when you need help.
Well, there's some things, some of these characters I'm sure do alone.
It's like, great. Can you help me with this? I've been doing it alone for so long now.
Now, what you're referencing there, Dana, is his work in the science lab.
So Scotty sighs and she says, "This crew is a team. Knowing when to ask for help isn't a weakness, it's a strength."
Oh, brother. Okay, I need help, Dana. Dana, can you help me, please, by ending this now? Are we done? Are we done yet?
No,
Oh,
no,
God.
no.
Okay.
So next we see La'an enter Spock's room. We're back to, nobody knocks or rings a doorbell or anything anymore. He thanks her for coming to finalize their dance.
Mm-hmm.
And she's dressed in a long black dress with a slit up the side and heels.
Kind of like a flamingo, not flamingo. What's the dancer doing again?
Tango.
Yeah, sorry, that one. A flamingo.
She's dressed like a big flamingo.
And he's like, ooh, I knew you were kinky, but this is really, come on in. Flamingo.
See me fluff up those feathers, yeah.
I think I was thinking flamenco, like a flamenco dancer.
Yeah, I'm sure I knew that's what you were thinking.
And I combined that with tango, and I came up with flamingo somehow. I have not been drinking,
Yeah.
today.
So they dance and they talk about the holodeck. She says she figured it out when she realized the holodeck version of him was cold.
Yeah, and that was really clear to me, Dana. Every line he had, the way his face looked, his eyes, it was very clear that when he was on the holodeck, he was a hologram.
So they continue dancing. It's all very sultry, very sexy.
Yeah.
And they stop dancing and they're like very close.
Very millimeters apart.
Yeah, you could barely slip a piece of paper between their faces.
Yeah.
And then they kiss. And this is not a friend's kiss, Dan.
No.
This is like a passionate kiss.
Yeah, there was tongue happening, I'm sure. And Vulcans have two tongues, don't they?
Kind of like the double eyelids, yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah.
And Dan, that's how this episode ends.
So, Dana, you have something to tell us about this episode.
Yeah, Dan. Several of the TV show characters were inspired by real people. Pike's character was a nod to Gene Roddenberry, as we've discussed. Maxwell Saint was the Kirk character by Paul Wesley.
He actually played that character well.
He was obviously doing a parody of Shatner.
Right.
Lee Wood's character, which was Ortegas, is loosely based on DeForest Kelley and actually has the line, "I'm an actor, not a doctor."
Okay, that was a good reference.
Do you have any notes you want to share with us on the show, Dan?
I do. Jess Bush, who plays Chapel, she speaks with her natural Australian accent as the holodeck character Adelaide Shaw, indicating Shaw might have originally been from Australia because Adelaide is a town in Australia. And I didn't know, so I contacted the geography professor at Dammit Jim the University. They told me that it's actually the 5th most populous city in Australia, Dana.
Wow.
That's all I have.
Dan, I don't have anything for themes and dilemmas this week. Do you have anything there?
Yeah, I do. So Scotty feels the need to prove himself without asking help from others, right? And I think we all struggle with this thing called the imposter syndrome, especially like in our professional lives, such as, I taught for a long time. So I would often think, am I really good enough to teach? I think the answer was probably yes. Or potentially a question could be, are we good enough to do a podcast? The answer should be obvious to anyone who's ever listened to this podcast for a couple minutes. But so I think that's what he was struggling with. Am I actually good enough to do this job of chief engineer for the Enterprise? Dana, I don't have a what would Kirk do? How about you?
Kirk would have worked with Scotty to break into the holodeck and end the program. Okay, Dan, we're on to the best and worst. Do you want to start us off? What do you have for a best?
Scotty. I love that we are seeing the beginning of Scotty's character, and I think he's going to become like a really good character on this series, Dana. How about you? A best part?
La'an. She had a bigger role. I mean, the Amelia Moon thing, it was okay. But I just like that she had a big role. I think she carried it off well. Do you got another best part for us, Dan?
Yeah, all the inside jokes making fun of the original series, William Shatner, Gene Roddenberry, and even later iterations in the franchise. Like during the end credits, Paul Wesley makes fun of William Shatner with his accents and also makes fun of Jonathan Frakes, number 1 from Next Generation, especially when he does the Riker maneuver. That's that distinctive way that Frakes would sit in a chair by swinging his leg over the chair. And Frakes was the director of this episode. How about another best part for you?
I thought that the alien Gonian was hilarious. It was so bad. It was so 1950s-ish that I really liked it.
Dana, how about another best part for you?
I like you just referenced this, Dan, but the outtakes that they had at the end of, the cast trying things, Wesley trying to straddle, do the leg over the chair, and the chair falls apart when he hits it. And
Yeah.
there was all kinds of funny things that happened. I thought that was probably the best part of the show.
Yeah, in fact, if they would have just had the beginning part of the show, cut that back to about 30 seconds, and then this part, it would have been a great episode.
Let's move on to worst, Dan. What do you have for worst?
Woody. I mean, the guy plays Kirk. I mean, Dana, I'm sorry, but this guy is bugging the absolute living shit out of me. I can't put my finger on why, Dana. Dana, how about a worst part for you?
I said I'd return to this. I hate the holodeck. I'm glad it didn't work well. I just always hated it as a concept. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But for the show, it just doesn't do anything. I hate the holodeck.
Well, there are some scientists who believe there's over a 50% chance that we are living in a simulation, Dana.
Yeah, well, my simulation sucks sometimes.
If it's a simulation, I want other stuff going on.
Yeah. I've got some notes. So,
like a whole book of notes. It's a note. It's a lot of notes.
okay, Dan, do you have another worst part for us?
Yeah, I do. The whole solving of the crime for the testing of the holodeck. I mean, you think there would have been a more simple way to test this thing, Dana. It just seemed ridiculous. How about another worst part for you?
Now we have a Spock-La'an romance. Why? Why is this necessary? Is he wearing, like Axe body spray and women just can't resist him? What? I mean, I just hate it.
But what happened to Woody? What happened to her romance with Woody? And is this going to come up? And are those two going to fight about this at some point? I mean...
But he's on another ship, he's got his own thing. He's probably, he's got the girlfriend that's pregnant now. And
oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing.
Okay, Dan, let's move on to the counts.
Yeah, let's get done with this whole thing. Yes, let's do it.
Dan, what about talking too much?
Everything. Every scene on the holodeck, everything with the crime. I'm just going to count it as one, although we could probably count every scene individually. Dan, what about you?
I had one. I used Uhura's speech about the show and stuff because it just went on and on. It was like a hammer over the head, as you said.
Yeah. So, Dana, that leaves us with a tally of 22.
Okay, Dan, dead crewman count.
Dana. What is happening? I want to know. I'm pissed, Dana. Sorry, I had to move away from the microphone because I was screaming. Dana, I am legitimately angry right now. Like, not funny. This isn't funny to me, Dana. Why is no one dying on this show? It sucks. So we got 0, Dana. And that leaves us with 14 and a half.
How about shedding tears? I mean, I cried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
I know. Yeah. 0, leaving us with a total of 32.
Ripped shirts, no shirts. Anybody showing skin this week?
I have 0 for this week, Dana, for a total of 17.
Okay, the Supreme Being count.
Far from it. That would have been great for a Supreme Being to come in and just wipe out this entire freaking episode. 0, total of 4.
Taking over the Enterprise.
Well, the holodeck program kind of did, but again, I don't think it counts. I had 0. What about you?
I actually had 1 because I thought the holodeck caused the ship to malfunction.
But it wasn't trying to take over the Enterprise. That's kind of how I see this.
Okay.
But if you want it, hey, I'm willing to put it in because it would be the only freaking one I think we have another one too, but
no, let's not.
Right. So 0, we're stuck at 5.
How about a fight?
I don't remember seeing any fights in this episode except for me fighting to get to the freaking end. So Dana, I had 0 for a total of 27.
Okay, something exciting. Log drops.
We got one, Dana. We got a log drop. La'an at the beginning of the episode, right? With her security officer's log.
Yeah.
She dropped a big one.
If she could have just talked the whole rest of the show and we never had this episode, it would have been great.
That would have been great. So that brings our total up to 27.
And finally, Dan, pike cooking.
Dana, see, we didn't even get this week. No, 0, stuck at 15.
Okay, Dan, you want to give us your final thoughts on this episode?
Dana, I would be happy to. I mean, I really thought there were some clever moments in this episode, especially when they were making fun of or maybe referencing the original series, William Shatner and others. But I found myself, Dana, really bored especially with the scenes inside the holodeck. I thought it was just stupid, and I was bored to tears. I mentioned this earlier, Dana. It was clear to me from the moment Spock shows up inside the simulation that he was a hologram. Woody continues to bug me, although his diction jokes were juvenile and right up my alley. I thought those were funny. The entire episode centers around the holodeck, right? Yet they are going to mothball the entire idea because it had a few glitches. I mean, maybe they should have done some more beta testing before they even had this thing happening inside the holodeck. And Dana, here's another thing that bugged me. We don't really learn anything or learn much about the characters except Spock, and he wants to play Woody for La'an. We learn a little bit about Scotty, but it comes in at a very short scene at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So this episode seemed like a complete throwaway episode to me. And you know, Dana, after being away from the podcast for so long because of your vacations, the least the writers could have done was provide a really compelling episode to return to. We did not get it, Dana. How about you? What are your final thoughts?
I probably like this episode just a little bit better than you, but not much. There was some fun in it. Like you know, I like some of the throwback stuff. I thought the old-fashioned look of science fiction TV was kind of fun. Unfortunately, it does nothing to push the series forward. You know, it's kind of like what you were saying. I've never been a fan of the holodeck. It's a distraction from what they're supposed to be doing, and it's always problematic. Even when Picard used it, you know, a century later, it detracts from what the show is really about. I like the point of Uhura's speech about the Final Frontier show and what it was all about, but again, it hit us like a hammer. In my mind, lazy writing, and I was much more interested in seeing the star collapse than the mystery, even though La'an was strongly featured. And really, the La'an-Spock romance, I just don't get why we have to go there. Is Spock just emitting pheromones at some insane rate that women just want to jump his bones 24/7? I mean, why do we have this romance? It doesn't even make sense. There doesn't have to be a shipboard romance between one of the major characters. Though I went through the whole Chapel and Spock thing and thought, okay, you know, you can see that kind of building. I just don't get this at all. It seems out of character for both of them. Having said all that, I'm guessing this was another episode that was probably fun for the actors. They probably had fun, you know, dressing up differently and doing different characters and that. For Jess Bush using her own accent. It just didn't lend much to the Star Trek concept or advance Strange New Worlds at all.
In summary, this episode sucked monkey balls. I think that's a bad thing, probably.
Yeah, unless you're another monkey. Yeah, but.
Oh boy, we better move on.
Yeah, Dan. Now we finished with this episode. What do we have coming up? Hopefully next week.
The episode, which might be a day or two late, is Through the Lens of Time. I hope that lens provides us a clearer and better episode than we got this freaking week, Dana. But Dana, having said all that, I had a blast talking about this episode. It's always fun to get together with you and talk about Star Trek, especially when the episodes are really bad, Dana.
Yeah, Dan, it was, I was looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. We had a good time, laughed a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of the laughter that we had was more crude than usual, so it's ended up on the cutting room floor.
That's true.
It's always a blast to get together and talk about Star Trek. And thanks once again to all our listeners who write in and or call. Dan, if somebody wanted to leave a voicemail for us, what is that number?
Dana, that number is 509-676-6298.
Okay, Dan. Well, until we meet again, live long and prosper.
Thanks once again for listening to Damn It Jim, the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at dammitjimpodcast@gmail.com or join the discussion on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can also reach us at the Damn It Jim hotline at 509-676-6298. This podcast was produced by Dan Calzaretta and Dana Smith for Ramble Jar Productions. Editing by Dan Calzaretta. If you would like to be a Damn It Jim sponsor, please send us an email at dammitjimpodcast@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your week, and remember to live long and prosper.